Hi, Sadie Plains. I'm back again and I'm in the kitchen cooking. I've been telling my students I've been doing a lot of cooking with all of our free time now that we're at home. And I'm getting ready to make some blueberry muffins. And here I have all of the ingredients if you actually want to try this recipe. I had all of these already at home, so it was really easy. I'm going to need 1 cup of milk, 1 egg, 1/3 cups of oil, 2 cups of flour, 2 teaspoons of baking powder, 1/2 a cup of sugar, and 1/2 a cup of blueberries. I'm going to use frozen blueberries. But before I get cooking, I noticed a lot of fractions when I've been cooking in the classroom, and that of course reminds me of my students because that's what we were learning about in school. So I want to play with these fractions before I start getting all of the ingredients together because I'm wondering a few things about halves, wholes, maybe even what makes a half and what makes a whole. So here I have a measuring cup and 2 glasses. So I'm wondering a couple of things. I'm wondering how can I use fractions to measure 1 cup of milk? Are 1/2 and 1/3 cups equivalent? And what fraction is equivalent to 1/2? So let's try some of that with my milk. So this measuring cup, I noticed, also is labeled in fractions, and I'm going to find where it's measuring in cups. So on this side, I see all of my different cups. So I'm going to start out with 1/2 a cup by pouring the milk to the exact line that measures 1/2. If I pour 1/2 a glass of milk, it looks like this. Now I remember from 3rd grade math, I can also use fourths to measure 1/2. So I'm going to start with 1/4. And I wonder, is 1/4 more or less than 1/2? Let's compare. I can clearly see that 1/4 is less than 1/2. Let's see what happens when I add another fourth. If I add 1/4 plus 1/4, now I have the same amount of milk, or I can say 1/2 is equivalent to 2/4. Now I'm going to pour the milk back into my measuring cup because I'm wondering if 2/4 plus 1/2 gives me my 1 whole cup. This top line does say 1 whole cup of milk. So let's see if I put these two together by adding 1/2 plus 2/4. I now have 1 whole cup of milk ready for my mixing bowl for my blueberry muffins. Before I move on, I was also wondering, are 1/2 and 1/3 equivalent? Now, I don't have 1/3 on this measuring cup, so I'm going to have to go get another one. To compare 1/3 and 1/2, this measuring cup shows halves, fourths, and thirds. So this measuring cup has 1/3 cups of milk. This measuring cup has, you can see, 1/2 a cup of milk. So let's compare them using our glasses so it's easy to tell if 1/2 is greater than or less than 1/3. There is 1/3. And let's compare 1/2. It's a little hard to tell, but I can see that 1/2 is slightly greater than 1/3. Very close. I would definitely need a measuring cup so that I didn't mess up my muffins on that measurement. The last question I was wondering about, as a reminder, is what fraction is equivalent to 1/2? We saw that earlier when I put 2/4 together. I was able to get 1/2. I went into the kitchen and I finished mixing all my ingredients, and I'm about ready to put them in the baking pan to go into the oven. But I noticed some more math coming up. First, I noticed that I had 3 rows in my baking pan, and I can fit 4 muffins in each row. This looks just like an array. When I have equal rows, 4 plus 4 plus 4, I can use a shortcut, I love shortcuts, by multiplying to find out how many total muffins I'm going to have at the end of my cooking session. So if I multiply my 3 rows times 4 in each row, I wonder how many total muffins will I get when I take them out of the oven. Here's how I could solve. If I multiplied 3 times 4, I could also show 3 groups with 4 in each, or I could add 4 3 times. I know 4 plus 4 plus 4 is 12 muffins total. Here's an added blueberry bonus. I wonder, what if every muffin has 4 blueberries? How many total blueberries would be in the recipe? Here's what that might look like. Since I have some extra blueberries, think of it this way. Each spot would have 1, 2, 3, 4 blueberries. If I have 12 muffins with 4 blueberries in each, how many total blueberries ended up being in my recipe? Use this visual to help you figure it out. Good luck.